This is a personal story about me losing one of my childhood best friends. I first met Martha when I was 7 years old. She was 13 at the time, and she always kind of acted like a bigger sister to me in ways such as she took care of me when I was younger. She would always babysit me and her little cousins, my childhood best friends. We all were a genuine family, and she showed all of us the best ways to go through life. She had a way of never overstressing too much on certain situations. She'd find a way to take a step back and look at whatever problems she had. Due to her showing me this earlier on in life, I now apply it to a lot of the things I do in life. Martha always had a way of putting a smile on her face. She could find the most light-hearted jokes, the most stupid things. It was what made her the person she was. She used to put so much effort into making others feel like they were funny, even though they weren't. She found ways to uplift others. She taught me how to uplift each other in ways that an unconventional brother and sister would. She showed me so much of the real world and how ugly it could be at times, through the difficult times, sunshines or rainbows or not. She knew, despite the cruelty of the world, that she wouldn't be cruel back, but rather respond to it with a gentle laugh. Brushing off the pain with the world brings isn't easy, but she found that living life simply looking at your problems isn't living life, but living life simply critiquing it. She found that living it is much more enjoyable than worrying about it. But life doesn't always go as expected, especially for Martha. She found out she first had cancer when she was 13 years old, but it came back pretty serious when she was 18. She managed to fight it off, and though next 3 years she lived life to her fullest, that which she could, and she could have knew that worrying about life wouldn't do anything but harm for her and her loved ones. So she simply carried on, and carry on she did. I remember going to her 21st birthday party, having fun in ways I probably shouldn't have, but I truly believe it's one of those experiences that I will remember for the rest of my life. Because in that moment of the party, I could see that me and her were at true happiness. But happiness doesn't always last forever. A few months later, she was informed of more worrying news, that her cancer had came back, and the doctors said it wasn't strong as last time. She would most likely fight it off. The first time I went to go visit her, she was in the hospital. She was vibrant as ever, making jokes, seeming as absolutely nothing was wrong with her. But she always did have a good way of masking her pain for others, especially loved ones. When we left, I had no idea it'd be the last time I'd ever see her. 2 weeks later, I got a call. A man answered the phone, describing to me how he was so sorry, whilst I was still in disbelief of the situation. He had called me to inform me that her last surgery had failed and that she wasn't going to make it. I walked into the waiting room, my eyes filled with fear and sorrow. I looked around in the room, and me and her cousins immediately fell into each other's arms with the pain of knowing that she was gone. It took us all a while to overcome it. She was such a close part of our lives. We eventually came to the realization that she wouldn't want us to go on through our lives looking at what was wrong with it, but rather how we could make it better the next day and move on with her always in our hearts, knowing the sister I had would always be with me. Looking back on all that she truly did for me, I've come to the realization that it was never about her having fun with her own life, but rather her always trying to place joy into others' lives. She found true happiness in others' happiness and used it as a source to keep on going and pushing in her own life, despite knowing that it could all eventually end in a second. Her life was truly about more than just her. It was about how she made everything and everyone around her better.